Thank you, everyone, for being with us this evening. Welcome, welcome. My name is Olivia Mathis. I am one of our program advisors here with the Division of Pre-College and Undergraduate Programs. Very excited to have you join us for our info session where we're going to be discussing what you can expect as a parent or guardian of a pre-college student. So as a general overview for the session this evening, we're going to provide a general overview of the Brown pre-college programs, after which I'll introduce our panelists who are going to share with you the pre-college experience, what our expectations and requirements are for participating students, and also how you can best support your student throughout the experience. This presentation will be recorded and emailed out to any registrants, usually within about a week. We'll also include any pertinent links to information covered this evening in that email as well. We expect this presentation to be about 45 minutes long. I did also want to point out that closed captioning is available. You can access that by clicking the CC button down below. We'll also have QR codes available on some of the slides that you can scan, and that will take you to the relevant page on our website for more information. Something else that we're going to be offering today is a Q&A feature that you can find integrated into Zoom here. Feel free to submit questions using that Q&A feature at any time throughout our presentation this evening. We will have two of our other program advisors like myself moderating in the background and available to answer any of those questions. We'll also have a live question and answer portion at the end of this webinar as well. So feel free to submit those questions at any point. The best place to find a lot of this information that I highly recommend checking out, in addition to watching this webinar, is taking a look at our website, which is precollege.brown.edu. Our FAQ page is extremely helpful when trying to familiarize yourself with kind of the ins and outs of the pre-college experience and determining if that's right for you. So I highly recommend taking a look there as well. A really great new aspect of our website is specifically the parents and guardians section. So up on our website in the top corner, under the drop-down menu that says For You, there's a specific section. It's specifically intended just for parents and guardians. The QR code on this page will also lead you there. So highly recommend scanning that and taking a look on our website. Okay, so now for just a general overview of Brown Pre-College. Each year, we welcome more than 6,000 high school students from over 70 different countries, including across the United States, who choose to spend part of their summer with us, whether that's here in Providence, at locations around the world, or online. These students explore over 300 courses that are intentionally crafted to reflect the undergraduate open curriculum here at Brown. The structure of Brown's pre-college programs reflects the freedoms and responsibilities that are critically important parts of the college experience. As a result, your student will balance the challenge of college-level academics with enriching social activities that are available, whether they choose to study in person or online. Regardless of which program they're interested in, the very first step in their pre-college experience is completing an application. Our application is designed to mirror the common application used by many colleges and universities. Our application is intended to help prepare your student for the college application process, including adding transcripts and thinking through and crafting an essay based on a unique writing prompt. Our summer 2026 application is now open, and the deadline for submitting an application is Friday, May 8th. You can find your student's application checklist, which includes the essay prompts, grade requirements, and everything else they'll need to provide us with a completed application by clicking on the Apply button at the top of our website. You'll also find a video tutorial there with step-by-step instructions on how to complete the application on our Apply page. Admission decisions are made on a rolling basis. In most cases, admission decisions are made within 15 business days of receiving a completed application. In order to participate, students must enroll in a course after being admitted. Being admitted does not mean a student is enrolled in any particular course or academic program. Now that I have provided a general overview of our application process and timeline, I'd like to transition to learning more about what you, as a parent or guardian, can expect. So now I am happy to introduce Adrienne Marcus, Dean of the Division of Pre-College and Undergraduate Programs here at Brown University. Hi, Adrienne. Thank you so much for being with us here this evening.
Good evening, Olivia. Thanks for having me, and thank you all of you for joining us. I love seeing these pictures of summer because for many of you probably also on this call, we've all had a big snowstorm in the past couple of days, so it's nice to see what the warm weather and remind ourselves what summer is going to look like on the Brown campus. So I'm excited to be here tonight to share with those of you joining us what makes Brown Pre-College so special and such a great place for your young scholars to spend part of their summer. But before we do that, I'd like to just say a few words about the terrible tragedy on December 13th that occurred on Brown's campus. Today, our focus is on protecting our campus and sustaining and reclaiming the sense of belonging, joy, and possibility that defines Brown. In the wake of December 13th, the Brown Ever True Initiative has coordinated recovery efforts across our campus to build our community's sense of security and ensure students, faculty, and staff have a space to heal and move forward together. Our top priority is the security and well-being of every member of our teaching and learning community, as well as all of those who visit our campus. We continue to maintain and increase security presence on campus and implement enhanced security measures for our community. For more details about these efforts, you can visit publicsafety, all one word, .brown.edu. So to talk about a little bit about what we're going to discuss this evening, my colleagues and I are going to share our thoughts with you regarding the Brown Pre-College experience and our expectations of your student, as well as suggestions for how you may best support your student before, during, and after their program. While this is an exciting time for you and your student to explore the multifaceted experience of heading off to college, it also brings responsibility and the need for clear communication and planning to ensure you are all prepared so that your student can have an impactful and positive experience. In many ways, Brown Pre-College is designed to reflect and prepare students for an undergraduate application and first-year experience at colleges and universities in the United States. As Olivia mentioned, this modeling begins with our application process. Just as with an application to an undergraduate degree program, the application to Brown Pre-College is intended to be completed by the prospective student. Our review process is holistic, meaning that we are considering both whether your student is ready for the academic challenges, as well as their social and emotional preparedness to participate successfully in Brown Pre-College programs. Social and emotional readiness is important, both in and out of the classroom, for students to be able to be constructive members of their learning community, whether they're studying online or in person. In addition to challenging students academically at a first-year college level, students are expected to manage what, for many, is a new degree of independence, as well as the necessary maturity and responsibility needed for a successful first year in college. Regardless of where and what they study, we expect that students will treat themselves and their new community members with respect and care, and bring a heightened level of curiosity and openness to spending time with people who come from a variety of different locations and experiences. To that end, it's important for your student and you to review the policies page, and in particular, the policies and guidelines that relate to the experience your student will have with us. We also ask that parents and guardians remind their students to check their emails regularly for communications from pre-college, from the time they begin their application through the end of their program. Students are the primary point of contact, and as such should be checking both the email they applied with and the Brown email address they'll receive in the summer. We recommend that if a parent or guardian email address was used to complete the Brown pre-college application, that it be updated to the student's personal email address so they don't miss important information both before and during the program. Our expectation is that students are open to engaging with opportunities to gain experience in time management and learning to make healthy choices. That said, staff supports students in learning how to navigate new and sometimes challenging situations without immediate mediation. The team here is here to assist and support students, but first and foremost, to give students the chance to trust their instincts and their developing interpersonal skills to succeed on their own. Students are shown how to find the support they need, with the goal of them beginning to learn how to seek assistance when they need it and want it. As a partner in supporting your student, it is our hope that as their parent or guardian, you will also encourage and empower them throughout this learning experience. Whether students study in person or online, these qualities will support and enhance how they can experience their time participating in their program. Time management, engaging with different perspectives, and being proactive and advocating for themselves are important skills to consciously work to develop while at pre-college, as they will serve your student very well when they attend college in the next few years. So you may be wondering what you can do to best support your student. There are three main areas that we believe are most helpful in supporting students who are attending the pre-college programs. Number one is providing support and guidance. Active listening to your student as they share their academic and personal experiences, challenges, and successes, and then offering your student general guidance and advice. Great ways to do this are to share strategies that have worked for you and how to manage your time effectively, how to approach making friends in a new environment, and helping them brainstorm solutions to academic and personal challenges, including accessing available pre-college resources, all while still encouraging them to take ownership of the solution. Number two is encourage independence. Recognize the importance of your student learning to make their own choices and trust their own ability to manage their daily responsibilities. Again, remind them of program resources that are available to them while they are participating, including their instructor, their resident assistant, staff in the student life office, and program advisors, if you think they could benefit from additional support. And number three, stay connected. Create a mutually agreed upon plan to maintain regular communication with your student while they're participating in the program, including how you will stay in contact, whether through phone calls, text, video chat, emails, and how often you'll be in contact, whether daily, every other day, once a week, and what time you'll be in contact. It could be when they're getting ready for the day, at curfew, or after lunch, or any other time. Whatever the agreed upon schedule, this regularized contact can help ease worries you have about how they're doing and provide your student with consistency even while you're apart. With that backdrop, I am excited to welcome my colleagues to discuss their areas of expertise and the nuances of expectations specific to the various programs offered at Brown Pre-College. So first, I'd like to introduce Yolanda Davis, the Assistant Dean for Pre-College Programs. Hey, Yolanda.
Hi, thank you, Adrienne.
Sure.
I'm excited to share with you all some details about what is expected academically of our students while they are participating in our programs. Each of our pre-college programs has slightly different expectations of your student, so I'll provide some details about each. Generally, Brown pre-college students enjoy a learning environment that encourages maturity and allows students to practice decision-making, time management, and academic and social life balance. We provide students with freedom and flexibility with the expectation that they will utilize the many supports available to them. While the details of what is expected for each program can be found on the webpage for parents and guardians, today we will speak about programs in three categories: those that take place on the Brown campus, those that take place in person at locations other than the Brown campus, and those that take place online. Programs that occur on the Brown campus include Summer at Brown, the Leadership Institute, and STEM for Rising 9th and 10th graders programs. For students participating in these programs, there are specific expectations of how they will spend portions of their day, including attend class on time and actively participating in the daily 3 hours of class. This is Monday through Friday. Any additional required workshops and lab activities per their program, and residence hall meetings that occur 2 to 3 times each week. They are living in the residence hall. Going to the dining halls for 3 meals each day of the week, also returning to their residence hall by 10 p.m. each evening to check in with a resident assistant for curfew and to remain in their residence hall until 6 a.m. the next day. In addition to these expectations, students who are studying on campus will have options for how they spend the rest of their time, which we recommend to include the following: complete at least 2 to 3 hours of out-of-class work each day for each class they are taking, sometimes individually and sometimes in groups. Students enrolled in the STEM for Rising 9th and 10th graders will spend a bit less time studying individually, as they are required to participate in co-curricular activities beyond the hours they are in class. Complete assignments according to their timelines listed in the course syllabus that is provided to them when they begin their class. Check their Brown and personal email, and preview the course's Canvas site pretty frequently. Respond to instructor and staff inquiries in a timely manner if contacted via phone, text, and/or email. Engage with Brown University resources such as Brown Libraries, the Writing Center, and instructors' office hours to support their learning. Get enough sleep. Make sure that eating healthy foods in the dining halls, keeping hydrated, and just supporting their overall their activity and consistent engagement with their program. Get to know other students in the program, and for Summer at Brown and Leadership Institute, participate in extracurricular activities and explore the Brown campus, Providence, and the state of Rhode Island. Programs that occur online include Brown Pre-College Online and Leadership Institute Online, as well as the first 2 weeks of the 5-week hybrid Summer at Brown course-based research experience courses. We call those CREs. For students participating in these programs and courses, there are specific expectations on how they will spend portions of their day that are dependent on what kind of online modality their course or program uses, as some require real-time or synchronous engagement, while others provide optional synchronous engagement. More information about these different modalities can be found on their respective program websites, and when selecting specific online courses, the modality can be found in the course description. In addition to these expectations determined by the online modality, students who are studying online will have options for how they spend the rest of their time, which we expect to include the following: complete about 15 to 20 hours of classwork each week for each class they are taking, sometimes individually and sometimes in groups. Complete assignments according to the timelines listed in the course syllabus. Respond to instructor and staff inquiries in a timely manner if they are contacted. Take advantage of instructor virtual office hours to further their learning and to build a relationship with their instructor. Engage with Brown University resources, such as the Brown Libraries or the Writing Center, as we mentioned earlier, to support their learning. Participate in some of the extracurricular online program activities that occur throughout the day, and again, get to know other students in the program. Next, Adrienne will share information about the experiential programs.
Thanks, Yolanda. The pre-college programs that take place in person in locations away from the Brown campus include the suite of Brown Experiential Education Programs, or B, taking place in Barcelona, Spain, and Oxford, UK, as well as the Brown Environmental Leadership Lab programs, or BELL, taking place in Alaska, the Florida Keys, and in Rhode Island, which has its home base on the Brown campus, but has a very different schedule and set of expectations than the other programs Assistant Dean Davis previously described. All of the B and Bell programs are cohort-based, with students spending the entirety of the program, including their free time, with the other students in the program, living and learning together. In addition, program schedules are full and integrate courses, site visits, and community building time. Both B and Bell programs have specific expectations of how students will spend portions of their day, including attend class on time and actively participate each day. While the length of each class varies by program, students in these programs should expect to be engaged for the majority of their day. Participate in excursions or field work throughout the day, often by walking with classmates and instructors. Arrive at the appropriate dining facility for each of the 3 meals each day. Actively engage with peers in community building activities, and return to your residence hall by the appointed time each evening and remain there until the expected time to leave each morning. For the remaining hours of each day, students in the B and Bell programs have some options for how to spend their time, with an expectation that they will complete approximately 2 hours of out-of-class work each day, respond to instructor and staff inquiries in a timely manner if contacted, ensure that they select healthy foods in the dining facility, stay hydrated, get enough sleep in ways that support their active and consistent engagement with their program. Make sure they have appropriate supplies, including water, sunscreen, bug repellent, or other items necessary that will be available on the enrolled students page for each program, so they can safely, successfully, and comfortably participate in the program. And as always, get to know other students in the program. Now that we've shared information that is mostly focused on the academic expectations, I'd like to introduce Brittanny Connelly, the Director of Pre-College Student Life, who will share more information about the out-of-class experience for students who are enrolled in programs and courses on the Brown campus and those participating online. Hi, Brittanny.
Hi, Adrienne. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to share how our Brown pre-college programs not only offer rigorous academic challenges, but they also create a vibrant, multifaceted student life experience. So in addition to challenging students academically at a college level, students are expected to manage a level of independence as well as the necessary maturity and responsibility needed for a successful first year in college. Regardless of where and what they study, we encourage all students to embrace new environments, forge meaningful connections, and learn to balance academic and personal growth. Our aim is to prepare your student for both college and for life. And so while much of what I'll share today is focused on the residential experience for students who are living and learning on the Brown campus, many of these expectations and goals are the same for those studying online, as well as those participating in the B and Bell programs. So there will be numerous opportunities for your student to grow outside of the classroom. They will develop their independence and responsibility as they learn to manage their time, make healthy decisions, and address any challenges that arise. By interacting with peers with a diversity of ideas, perspectives, and experiences, they will build essential interpersonal skills. And these practical skills that your student will gain by navigating campus life, participating in extracurricular activities, will all help to ease their transition to college life. Our program offers a rich student life experience that mirrors the American college environment. Our students live in residence halls, they eat their meals in our dining facilities, and they'll be exposed to a variety of on-campus activities. While there are ample opportunities for students to learn while studying with us, it's important that they understand the expectations and prerequisite knowledge needed to be successful. So to that end, I want to reiterate Adrienne's emphasis that we highly encourage your student and you to review the policies page, and in particular, the policies and guidelines that relate to our expectations for your student. So I'm going to spend some time reviewing just a few of these important expectations. First, students are expected to be open to engaging with new ideas and people and are able to learn and grow. So with hundreds of programs and workshops over the course of the summer, advanced academic work, and peers from across the globe, students should expect to be confronted with something new during their time at Brown. Now, we know that may be challenging for many students, but ultimately, engaging with different perspectives, treating themselves and their new community members with respect and care, and bringing a heightened level of curiosity and openness to spending time with people who come from a variety of locations and experiences will be paramount to their success. Next, students are capable, or mostly capable, of managing their time effectively. As my colleagues have mentioned, students enrolled in in-person programs will be in class for at least 3 hours each day and have up to 3 hours of coursework outside of class. For the student life experience, your student will find extracurriculars throughout each day, starting in the morning through the evening, ranging from college application and preparation workshops, many of which are also offered online for those of you studying online, physical activities like soccer, swimming, yoga. Students like to go to the weight room in our Nelson Fitness Center, to more creative pursuits like painting, tie-dye, or the very popular crochet club. These activities also can help explore students' own identities and develop healthy habits. On the weekends, for those on campus, there are additional activities as well as some excursions to regional locations, and all of our offerings are optional, and students will need to elect to participate. For some students who are still working on developing their ability to fully manage their own schedule, our staff can support them as they grow and develop, but generally, it will be the responsibility of your student to manage their daily schedule, ensuring that they're effectively meeting their course requirements while also making the most of the robust extracurricular offerings. In addition, students should come prepared with the social skills necessary to navigate a new and dynamic community environment. Outside of the first day of the program and the 2 to 3 floor meetings per week, there are no structured mandatory community building events planned by staff. As such, students will need to take initiative in forming connections. So whether that means starting a casual conversation with a peer in the hallway, inviting someone to join them for lunch, or stepping into a group activity hosted by our student life team, whatever it is, students are going to need to take on that initiative themselves. To help support with these connections, we also intentionally house our students with others who are enrolled in programs and studying on campus for the same length of time. This approach is designed to make it easier for students to connect, to build routines together, and to form lasting friendships with peers who will be around for the full duration of their program. Comfort with initiating these social interactions, even when it feels a bit uncomfortable, will go a really long way in helping our students create meaningful friendships and a sense of belonging. These social experiences are an integral part of the summer, and students who embrace these opportunities to branch out will find their time on campus to be richer and more rewarding. And then finally, students should be able to make healthy choices. Students will need to be able to assess how much sleep they'll need to be successful, which food choices in our dining hall will best fuel their bodies, or how they'll manage the stressors of being in a new living and learning environment. All right, well, a lot is expected of our students. It's also important that they understand that they also have a robust support system in place. The Brown Pre-College experience provides students with checkpoints and staff who are available at all times. Students are encouraged to explore their instincts and capacity to make good decisions, with staff who are available to support and course correct when needed. For those students studying on the Brown campus, we have a significant group of trained staff available 24/7 to support students as needed. That staff includes our year-round professional student life staff, our summer professional staff who spend the rest of the year working in K through 12 or higher education spaces. Our graduate student staff, who are students in the midst of their studies in student affairs, higher education, counseling, and other related fields. And then our staff who are mostly undergraduate age, who have recently experienced being at college for the first time. These approximately 300 or so staff oversee a wide range of supports and resources for students, including residential education, programming and activities, and housing and operations. At the start of their program, students will have an orientation with the residential staff in their building to share all of the necessary information on how to access resources and supports on campus. Parents and guardians will be able to find many of these resources on the parent-guardian webpage. Following their orientation, students can expect a daily checkpoint with their RA, or resident assistant, each evening at curfew. Outside of this scheduled touch point, we want students to be proactive in advocating for themselves if they require any additional assistance. And then building on what Adrienne mentioned earlier, our team of student life staff is dedicated to helping students grow by handling new and sometimes challenging situations without immediate mediation. We want our students to trust themselves and build the confidence to solve problems independently. We invite you to join us in empowering your student throughout this learning experience. And if they're ever unsure of the next step, please point them to the student portal. It's going to contain everything that they need to navigate campus life successfully. In conclusion, the Brown Pre-College experience is designed to nurture academic excellence and personal growth by providing a dynamic student life environment, a strong support system, and a safe space for students to practice decision-making, time management, and healthy living and academic/social life balance. We ensure that your student is well prepared for college and for life. And before we move on to the Q&A portion, I want to recognize that we've covered a lot of information in this brief info session. I recommend that folks take a photo of this slide with the QR codes. These are going to link you to a variety of resources that you may find helpful as you prepare. So for you and for your student, this is going to help with preparing for your Brown Pre-College experience. And then additionally, once an admitted student enrolls, you will receive an email that has a link to your parent portal. And that's where you'll find any forms that you must complete and sign. But we do ask that you please check that portal frequently, as additional forms or requirements may be added closer to your course start date. We really look forward to connecting with you and your student this summer and are happy to help answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brittany, Yolanda, and Adrienne. Really appreciate all of you joining us and offering your insights about these specific areas of the pre-college experience. So now we're nearing the end of our webinar. Figured that we would take some time to pose an open Q&A. So all three of our panelists this evening are happy to answer questions that you may have. So please feel free to use the Q&A section down at the bottom of your screen to provide us with any questions that are there. And I am going to take a quick look to see if there's anything that's come in so far. I think I have a question that Adrienne can probably answer here. How are students supervised during their time outside class, including weekends and evenings? And are there curfews and check-ins?
Sure. So some of this Brittanny has covered, but happy to repeat and go into some more detail. So the amount and type of supervision outside of class varies by program. As I stated earlier, the B and Bell programs, for those, students are engaged in learning throughout the day with staff and/or instructors with very limited free time. For Summer Brown and the Leadership Institute, attendance for students is taken each day in class, and any co-curricular activities they opt into, and each evening at their evening curfew in the residence halls. For Summer Brown and the Leadership Institute, student life staff have limited direct supervision of students outside of class. As was mentioned earlier, we have a large cohort of staff, 300 of them, who work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to support students, but they will not expect to have a touch point with a student outside of the evening curfew and residential floor meetings unless a student reaches out to them. Students are free to engage in any of our extracurricular activities offered on campus throughout the day. They're also free to leave campus and explore the local area. Our policies do not require students to get permission to leave campus unless they plan to leave overnight or they intend to leave the small state of Rhode Island. And while that may sound like a huge radius, again, please note that Rhode Island is the smallest state in this country. It is 37 miles wide and 48 miles long, and most of that is water. The university is integrated into the city of Providence, so students will see community members using the public spaces for things like jogging and walking their dogs. It's important to note that our supervision for the STEM for Rising 9th and 10th graders program looks different. STEM students have mandatory activities in the evening. We call them fundatory activities. So they are with Student Life staff following dinner until their curfew. They are also not permitted to travel off campus overnight outside of the weekend.
Great. Thank you so much for that comprehensive answer.
Sure.
I think I have one more question here that I would send over to you, Adrienne. Okay. Can students earn college credit through this program? And does attending increase their chances of admission to Brown University?
Good questions. All of Brown's pre-college programs are non-credit, except for the pre-baccalaureate program, or pre-bac as we call it, that rising seniors and students who have just graduated from high school are eligible for. Students in the pre-bac program take online credit-bearing classes alongside Brown undergraduates in our 7-week summer session. To speak to the question about admissibility to Brown's undergraduate program, the Office of Undergraduate Admissions is a completely separate entity from pre-college, and they have their own review process. That said, attending Brown Pre-College will familiarize a student with Brown and the way that students learn when enrolled in the college.
Okay, great. Thank you again. So we have quite a few questions that have been submitted. I think I see a good one for Brittanny here, kind of more focused on the student life experience. Brittanny, what are the housing arrangements like?
Great question. Thank you. So students who are enrolled in on-campus programs are housed in Brown's residence halls, which offer a variety of settings, different room sizes, and assortment of features that are all unique to each building on campus. So given the variety of residence halls, what you can expect as a Brown pre-college student is to be housed in either a single, double, or sometimes triple room assignment. Students will receive their housing assignment when they arrive on campus at check-in. And if you are assigned to a space that has roommates, you will meet your roommates in the residence hall once you've arrived to campus. In most cases, as I mentioned, we are assigning students to live in a space with other students who are there for the same duration of time on campus. So you can expect going into your residence hall that the other folks who are living in that space are here for the same amount of time. And if you do have a roommate, we also aim to ensure that your roommate is within 1 year of your age. So if you have a housing assignment with a roommate, part of your onboarding and forms process will be to self-select an option that most fits your needs for housing. So you'll be given the following options. You can either choose to live on a single sex floor. So students are placed in a room and on a floor with peers who all share the same sex assigned at birth, or you can opt into a single gender space. So students are housed in a housing space with peers who share the same gender identity, and that may or may not match with their sex assigned at birth. These spaces may not take up an entire floor, but they will have bathrooms that are designated for the gender identity of that space. So typically it's something like apartment style, suite style, where behind that suite door, there is rooms and a bathroom where all the individuals living in that space share the same gender identity. Students, if they opt into a single gender space, should select the gender that they'd like to be assigned with roommates who share that gender. And the options are man, and then in parentheses, cisgender or transgender, woman, cisgender or transgender, and non-binary / gender diverse. And so those housing options mirror the experience for an incoming first-year student at Brown, who will also fill out a form given the same options and be assigned housing.
Excellent. Thank you so much for clarifying that, Brittanny. I actually think I have one more here for you as well, about the dining halls. So
Yeah.
how is meal planning handled, including whether there are options for dietary restrictions like vegetarian or gluten-free?
Yes, definitely. So, as we mentioned, it will be the responsibility of students to make healthy choices, get themselves to the dining hall, but we also can support students with a variety of different dietary restrictions or preferences. All of our on-campus meals for both residential and commuter students take place in our all you care to eat dining facilities. These facilities are set up so you swipe into the dining hall and then you can stay for as long as you'd like and eat as much as you'd like. And there are a variety of different stations within the dining facility with different food options. And there's clear signage indicating for each food item a full list of ingredients and indicate their little logos that indicate if something is vegetarian, vegan, halal, or kosher. If you have any dietary restrictions, allergies, or accommodation needs, you should definitely take a look at the Brown Dining website for more information on how the university accommodates students. Brown undergraduate students are going to have many of the same allergies and other restrictions that our pre-college students do, so the dining halls are well prepared to support most students' needs. You're also able to send us an email at accessibility@brown.edu if you have any specific questions. We're happy to get those answers for you or connect you with our on-campus nutritionist so she can provide you the most up-to-date information from the dining facilities. And then for any of our students who are attending B or Bell programs, they're also going to have access to 3 meals a day in a dining facility for their program. And those dietary accommodations should be managed by reaching out to that accessibility email again, just to make sure that we can ensure that those dining facilities on location can work with your students' needs.
Excellent. Thank you again, Brittanny. We have lots of questions coming in right now. I think I am going to send this next one back over to Adrienne. Somebody is wondering if transportation is provided, like some sort of airport pickup or drop off.
So for programs occurring on the Brown campus, students and their families are responsible for coordinating their travel to campus. Transportation is provided for the B and Bell programs to and from the airport, with the exception of Bell, Rhode Island. Students typically arrive in Providence via public transportation. There's a bus station, train, rideshare services, etc. If they are comfortable with independent travel or coordinate private transportation in advance. If your student is traveling internationally and crossing the date line, please be sure to confirm the timing of their arrival and departure to avoid any confusion with travel dates. The airport your student is flying into likely has a list of available transportation services, so you may be able to arrange for a taxi or car service ahead of time to meet your student when they arrive. If your student is traveling by themselves, we ask that you carefully review your selected carrier's guidelines for unaccompanied minors so that they and you are prepared.
All right, great. Thank you. This next question I'll send over to Brittanny because you're pretty involved in this process. How does the check-in / checkout process work?
Yes, that's a great question. So for programs that are taking place Here on the Brown campus, our check-ins are going to take place on a designated Sunday, so the day before the student would start their course. Check-in is only open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and students are required to arrive during that designated window of time. Students who arrive outside of these hours tend to have a lot of challenges with settling in and feeling connected to their new community, so we are unable to accommodate any early or late arrivals outside of that 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. arrival window, so that we can ensure that we are supporting student success. So please do plan carefully when you're making your travel arrangements to ensure that the student is able to arrive and check in on time. Once you arrive to campus, check-in Sunday, I think, is probably my favorite day of the week. It's full of a lot of excitement, getting to see lots of friendly faces. Students will arrive and see a ton of staff who are there to help them check in, get their ID cards. Like I said, you'll learn your housing assignment when you arrive to check in, get your room key, and get settled into your residence hall. There's going to be a number of optional welcome sessions with Dean Marcus throughout that 9 to 1 check-in timeframe for parents and students to attend. And then students will have a mandatory orientation session later in the afternoon and early evening. And that information is going to be based on where you're living on campus. So you will have an orientation with the other residents of your residence hall. You'll find out the specifics of when and where once you arrive to campus. Students who are enrolled in a program that takes place in Providence, that takes place on our Providence campus, their parents and guardians are encouraged to attend an onboarding webinar. So this webinar is called Preparing for Pre-College On-Campus Programs, and it's taking place on either May 14th or May 19th. And you'll be provided detailed information about the check-in process and what to expect during your students' time on campus. And then check out at the end of your program is going to be something that occurs individually by student. So to check out, students need to return their room key and check out with a staff member in their residence hall. All students should coordinate and plan to depart after their last class ends. So students whose class ends later in the day may have a little bit more of a difficult time coordinating travel, so they're certainly welcome to stay overnight. They would just need to let their residence hall staff know while they're on campus that they plan to stay overnight after their last class, and we ask that they would depart by 9 a.m. the next morning. All of the specifics, again, are going to be building dependent. So students will be informed of the specifics for how to check out in their residence hall by the residential staff. And they'll also get an email a few days prior to the end of their program end date, giving them all of the information that they need to check out successfully.
Great. Thank you, Brittanny. I think I have one more here for you about activities. So what type of activities are available to students outside of those academic courses? And are any of those activities like excursions or trips?
Yes, great question. So as I mentioned earlier, we have activities happening throughout the day. So from 9 o'clock in the morning until our curfew at 10 o'clock at night, we have a variety of different activities, workshops, and events that are happening each hour on the hour. We welcome students to opt into our programs, and they cover a wide range of topics, including social programming, recreational, identity workshops. We have affinity groups, a series that we call College Experience, and oftentimes we'll have like panels of undergraduate students talking about their experience at Brown and at other institutions. We have college application and admissions process workshops, and then plenty of off-campus excursions, including our most popular is usually going to the beach. Rhode Island is the ocean state. Another very popular trip is heading up to Boston and also touring some of our local colleges. So we really encourage students to plan to fill their day outside of the time that they are in class or completing their outside of class work with the wide range of options for students to engage in workshops and activities. For those students who are studying online, we also offer some of our more popular workshops in an online format so that students can engage with pre-college student life in a virtual format. When students begin their program, excuse me, they will be able to view all of the extracurricular activities within their student portal.
Great. Thank you so much, Brittany. Looks like we have time for just a couple more questions. So this one I'll send over to Adrienne. Is financial aid or scholarships available?
Yes. Brown Pre-College programs do offer scholarships. There are 4 different kinds of scholarships. One is called the Sibley Scholarship. It is a kind of traditional need-based scholarship, and those funds are limited and they're first come, first served. So please have your student apply quickly if you are looking to receive scholarship, because those funds are indeed limited. So families submit an abbreviated scholarship form to our scholarship team so that they can determine the amount of aid appropriate for each student. The 3 other types of scholarships are meant for specific populations of students. One of them are students who are participants in a partner organization who we have formally partnered with, and they need to refer to that organization when they apply. Another group are students who are currently enrolled in a school within the Providence Public School District. And finally, students who have parents or guardians working full-time at Brown University. You can get more details on our scholarships page under the menu header Costs and Aid on our website.
All right, excellent. I have kind of an academic focused question. I think I'll call Yolanda up for this one. What is a typical day like for students, and what support services are available to help with their academic and personal development?
That's a great question. So, a student's typical day is dependent on the program they are participating in. So, each program's webpage has a short description of what a typical day can look like for the student's program. You can also check out our Instagram and our YouTube for student created day in the life videos, which are really fun, including on campus, online, and on location programs. These videos give you a glimpse into what you can expect at Brown Pre-College. The enrolled students page for each program includes packing lists and more details on the days students spend in the program.
Excellent. Thank you, Yolanda.
Of
I
course.
think we have time for a final question. Um, Brittany, I think that you can probably speak to this. You spend a lot of time on this campus. People are wondering, how large is campus?
Yeah, so campus is pretty large. I think it covers approximately 150 acres, so definitely large. And important to note that it's fully integrated into the city of Providence. Our pre-college programs span the entire campus, so students should expect that they're walking up to like 15 to 20 minutes between class and the dining hall, whatever student activities they're engaging in, and their residence hall. Students do have Brown ID cards that will provide them access into any Brown building. And that's just sort of like a normal part of life at Brown, is walking across campus, swiping into our buildings. It's a great way for students to experience our campus. And it can also be really useful for families to prepare their student for the independence and responsibility that's going to come with navigating a large urban campus, knowing that they're going to be traversing the entirety of campus.
Excellent. Thank you, Brittany. I think that is a great note to end things off on. We have held a number of these info sessions previously. Those recordings are available on our YouTube channel. You can find a link to those 2026 info sessions via that QR code that's currently at the screen. We also have a few info sessions that are coming up, so be sure to check the main page of our website for those. Finally, I just want to say thank you both to our panelists this evening and to all of you for tuning in, answering your questions, engaging with us. If you have additional questions that we weren't able to answer in the time allowed to us tonight, please reach out to myself and the rest of our program advising team. We are the question answerers, so we are happy to engage with you throughout any part of the process. You can reach us through email, either at precollege@brown.edu or over the phone at 401-863-7900. And also check out our YouTube and our social media pages for some of those great Today in the Life videos. But otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And thank you all panelists again for spending your evening with us here tonight.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.